Hello, welcome to Fox Valley. Today I'm Barb Nadeau. My guest today is Dee Brant from FACES4.org, here to give us a message we have to hear again and again. Dee, we were talking just before we went on the air today about FACES4, an organization that was built to stop people from speeding.
Right.
A very important lesson we have heard. You know, wear your seatbelt. We've heard, you know, safety messages all along, but we still speed on our roadways. And you speak to teens and adults, and you've been doing this for 6 years?
Since '06, yeah, 5 years. So,
well, thank you for coming to our show
thank
today.
you for having
It's been
me.
a while since we've had you on the air, and it's high time that you come back. Here we are looking at some of the busiest days of our calendar year and the worst weather conditions, road conditions. I think it's just appropriate that you come and talk to us today, and I want to thank you again for driving out
You're
today
welcome.
to be here. So tell me a little bit about FACES4. I know that it's an organization that you've paired up with another family.
Right.
You've gotten a lot of attention throughout the last 5 or so years working on this. The state of Illinois has sought you out, has seen you in action, and this is really a story of a family that has motivated and mobilized, I guess that's the word I want, to make a difference.
Well, I think, personally for me, I can't imagine having something as tragic as losing a child in a car crash that's so preventable, and not try to educate others so that they or their families don't have to go through this. I know I'll have students ask me, they go, what? You know, how can you do this? Isn't this hard? And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's hard. But if I can prevent you and your family from going through what our family went through, haven't we just blessed your family, you know?
Dee, you brought in a photograph here, and there's this is something that you've been passing out all along. You've got a photo of a family up here, a girl and her son, and then down below another photograph, and we're going to try and get a close-up here, see if we can see this. And we're going to hope we can. This is actually your son.
Right. He was a freshman at Waubonsee Valley High School when his life was taken by somebody who was speeding on the roadway. And, you know, everyone thinks speeding is no big deal. I didn't think speeding was that big of a deal. I mean, what do most people think? They kind of think, oh, I can go 10 miles over before a police officer will pull me over and ticket me. That's what you think. Oh, I can go a few miles over and still not be ticketed. But a few miles an hour can make a difference between life and death, is what it amounts to. For example, at 25 miles an hour, it takes, under perfect condition, that means you're fully alert, the weather's nice, the roads are dry, 21 yards on a football field to come to a stop. At 60,
on a good day.
On a good day, and you're fully alert, so there's no distractions. And you've had no 1 or 2 drinks in you, so there's nothing at all.
And you don't have your cell phone in your hand, trying to text at the same moment.
But then at 65 miles an hour, it takes 102 yards, a little longer than a football field. So what happens is you've only increased your speed by roughly 2.5 times, but your braking distance increases 6 times. And that's where we as human beings fail. Everyone thinks they can stop in times, but your brakes never work as well as you think they're going to work when you actually need them to work. So you have less time to react to a dangerous situation. You can't always stop in time. And especially for young people, they do tend to overcorrect. So, and it doesn't have to be speeding above the speed limit. It could be that the weather or the roads are not conducive for you to even be going the speed limit. There's a false feeling that you're inside a vehicle, you have 4 walls, you feel protected, You may be in a four-wheel drive, and it's like, you know what? That's a false sense of security. So.
Yeah, you know, we think, well, everybody's moving the same. Well, we don't even think about it, but really, the whole system is built on the fact that we're all moving at the same speed, and that we're keeping the same distance between our vehicles. And you know, we go through driver's ed. We've done that years ago. As adults, we need to you know, come face to face with it again. And kids especially need to do that. You actually go and talk to the teens.
Right. We are in 46 driver's ed schools, high schools within the DuPage County, Kane County, Will County, Cook County, McHenry County, DeKalb County. There are some other counties. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but that we are in there at least 2 and sometimes 4 times a year, depending on how often they have driver's ed. So I speak in the driver's ed. And I like it that way because I can look at the students face to face, and I want those students to interact with me when I give the presentation.
And you know, this day and age, the state of Illinois is just a mess. Our finances are well, there's no adjectives to describe what we're going through, but Illinois Department of Transportation has noticed you. The state of Illinois has really, they're responding to your organization. I guess that's what I want to say. They are responding to FACES4.org because of what you're doing. How did that happen?
Part of that is initially when my son was killed, before FACES4 was even started, I worked on laws, my husband and I did, to try to prevent drivers, a particular type of drivers, from being on the roadways. 3 laws that we got passed. One law indicated no more than 2 supervisions in a 12-month time period. A second law, 20 miles over the posted speed limit, based on the severity of a crash, you now can go to jail and have stiffer fines and punishment. And then the third law, which was part of the graduated licensing, indicates that if you are speeding on the roadway and racing with another person, your car will be impounded and your driver's license revoked. And when we were working on these laws, I would go out and speak at public venues. I was testifying in front of that House and the Senate in Springfield. I know that when I testified, it was on the Public Safety Network, and people started calling me from the traffic safety organizations, wanted to know who I am, why am I working on these things, and when I told them why, you know, we were working on these laws, I started getting support from them as well, and so. After our laws got passed, and typically your laws don't go into effect until January 1st of the following year, so our laws got passed in July of '05, and we were trying to get the governor at the time to enact the laws when he signed them, and he did not. And lo and behold, 3 months later, the Donovans lost their daughter and grandchild in a car crash, very similar circumstances as ours. Somebody who was traveling at a high rate of speed, somebody who had a lot of tickets but still managed to have a license on him. And so my heart just sank, because this is what I was trying to prevent. And so I contacted them because I knew exactly what they were going through. And we talked. It was funny because I'd already started working on acronyms for a name of an organization. And Mike Donovan, who is the father of Nicole Westerhoff there, we had the same acronyms we were working on, and I thought it was so ironic. And so we decided to start this organization, and then a year later we thought we could only be told no. And so we applied for a grant, and we were able to obtain a grant from the state of Illinois. And we've been very successful with the grant. We have spoken to, in presentation-wise, close to 50,000 students. And then that doesn't even include health and safety fairs or other community events, which is another 15,000, 15 to 20,000. And then these palm cards that we have here, we've worked with law enforcement. There's 223 law enforcement in the state of Illinois. And what they do is they hand those out either in traffic stops or when they pull somebody over for a speeding ticket, just to get people to understand that speed is real, it does kill, and hopefully that they learn to slow down a little bit. Everything is so fast nowadays. We're in a hustle bustle, and obviously in this season you're in a hustle bustle. Everyone's trying to accomplish so much, but you know what? Sometimes we need to step back and just relish what you have right in front of you.
You know, right before the show we were talking about that, and I had said, you know, they call them accidents because we don't really intend to, and truthfully they're not accidents. A lot of them are not, they're crashes.
Right.
Because we know what the law is, we know we should be slowing down, we know we should not be exceeding the speed limit, we know we shouldn't have our cell phone in our hand, you know, but we still do these things.
Right. If you look at, I heard a doctor, a pediatric doctor, speak a couple years ago, and he was showing a car 10 years ago, standard equipment, and a car, standard equipment today. And when he got done, you sat there and you thought, gosh, it's an entertainment system. It's not a vehicle meant for transportation. And so we do have so many things that can distract us inside the vehicle nowadays. The other one is our cars are quieter, the newer vehicles. So when you're in there and you're driving, you could be going 45 miles an hour, but you feel like you're only going 10 or 15 miles an hour. And so we have to really be aware of these things and take note and take a look at your, you know, look down at your speedometer. Your eyes are constantly moving and, you know, looking in the mirrors. We need to be looking at our speedometer as well. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that we get, we insulate ourselves as human beings so much, mm-hmm. and we only see what we want to see. Mm-hmm. We only see our own life. We get insulated in our vehicles. We get into a zone, you know.
Right.
And we forget that there's life out there, mm-hmm. and we need to be watching out for the other guy. Mm-hmm. We need to be caring about the other guy. Mm-hmm. You told me before the show, you know, what your slogan is for FACES4, and I think we have that to put on the screen. If we haven't already put it on the screen, stop speeding before it stops you. Where did that come from?
Funny you ask. I was just talking to Mike before I came in here. I go, Mike, where did we come up with this? And he goes, it was just you and me. We were just sitting in the office one time brainstorming. And I said, oh, okay. I go, I couldn't remember where we came up with it. But in presenting that slogan to some students over the last few weeks, along with some other ones, I asked them, I go, which of these, if you saw it or if you heard it, which one would really make you think and stop doing what you were doing? And they all said, stop speeding before it stops you. So, which surprised me, because some of the others were fairly catchy, that I thought that they would, that as teens that they would enjoy, like Speed, the thrill that kills. But no, the feedback was they all liked that the most. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good. It's good that what you're doing, that the kid that you're getting a chance to actually connect with the kids, mm-hmm. that the kids are connecting back with you,
right.
and they know, you know, what's going to make a difference to them.
Right. So.
Well, hopefully it'll make a difference to all of us today. Dee Brant from FACES4.org. We're talking about excessive speeding. We're just talking about speeding. Doesn't even have to be excessive, because as you so well pointed out earlier, that you know it takes a long time to stop a moving vehicle.
And what concerns me is people who are speeding in their subdivisions. 45 miles an hour. It takes you a little over half of a football field to come to a stop. And that's where, especially in the summer and when the weather's nice, you know, a little kid, they're not thinking about the road. They're thinking about their ball that just ran out into the street and wanting to go get it. And so, you know, do those things happen all the time? No. But do you want to be prepared for when they do happen? Yes.
Do you want to be the driver of that vehicle? No, you don't want to be the driver of that vehicle.
You don't.
Dee Brant, our guest today. We're going to have lots more here on Fox Valley Today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You still texting?
I gotta let daycare know that I'm running late. They charge if you're late. And I'm not usually one of those people to text and drive, and I was almost done with my text when that car came out of nowhere.
You still appeared in oncoming traffic. And that text message, it never got through.
Texting and driving causes an average of 6,000 fatalities a year. Don't become a statistic.
A healthy tomorrow begins with a solid foundation at home, and there are simple ways to start your kids on a path to success. Eat dinner together. Add veggies to each meal. Save treats for special occasions. And be sure to get up and play an hour each day. Help your kids make all of their dreams come true. Be our guest to healthy living today at letsmove.gov.
I'm Jeff Gordon, warning parents about pertussis. Imagine a cough barreling through your infant's body at up to 100 miles per hour, with enough force to make him gasp for air. Pertussis, or whooping cough, is potentially fatal, and it's most often spread by parents. Help protect your baby by protecting yourself. Ask about the adult pertussis vaccine as fast as you can.
Backseat.
Welcome back. We're talking today with Dee Brant. She's here from FACES4.org, an organization built around protecting us, protecting all of us and our children from excessive speed, speeding on our roadways, making poor decisions behind the wheels of a car. And you know, it's a message that we all need to take to heart, not just our kids, not just our teenagers, but all of us every day, especially right now. We're trying to get a lot of errands run every day. There seems to be some reason to get behind the wheel and start out faster than we should do, than we should drive.
Right.
And you said more than 50,000 young people you've talked to?
Yeah.
And you're focusing really on speeding. There's other groups out there that are telling people, you know, don't use intoxicating substances, don't use these substances, don't drink and drive. Your message is speeding.
Right, right. When we also speak to the students about speeding, we also tie into distractions because, especially with the information that we presented earlier about how long it truly takes to come to a stop. So if you have any distractions at all, that's going to increase your distance to stop and less chance of recovering or reacting to a dangerous situation. So,
and of course we know it's not just, there's not just victims out there that are going to be hit, but there's so many lives lost just in rollover crashes, single vehicle accidents, just things that could be totally prevented.
Right. They say approximately 31% nationwide fatalities are a result from speeding. And the reason is you put the element of speed into any kind of crash and you can't argue with physics. The types of injuries, the severity of the injuries, the likelihood of a fatality increases exponentially every 10 miles over 50 miles an hour. You can't argue with physics. It just,
we are soft human beings, you know. We may think we're pretty tough, but
right. Well,
bones break, and
here's what, now I never thought of it this way, but now understand, if a car is going 65 miles an hour, that person inside that car is also going 65. Guess what else is going 65 miles an hour? Your brain and your organs. So if there is a crash, there's 3 separate impacts that happen. The physical impact of the car against whatever it hits. The body against an airbag or a seatbelt, if you have your seatbelts on. And then the third impact are your organs against your skeletal muscles or your brain against your skull. And that's why the severity of injuries are going to grow exponentially as your speed increases. I don't remember being taught this when I went through driver's ed, you know?
I don't think we were.
No.
But you speak, as you said, you've spoken to the state, the House, you've been down in Springfield talking to our legislators. You talk to adults, you talk to teens. What do you tell them? Obviously you tell them this because they've probably never heard it anywhere else.
Well, besides giving them some education, I like to tell them the story of our son. Our son was, I believe, unique for a 15-year-old in the sense that he had hopes, dreams, and goals, and he was so dedicated to these dreams. And he would do something every single day to keep those dreams alive and in front of him. And how many times, even as adults, do we give up on a dream that we had or something that we wanted to accomplish? And he would do something every single day, no matter how minute it was. And so I want students to know that their life matters, that their life is impacting other people. And if they don't have a dream, get a dream. It's important to be chasing something. It helps you stay focused. It helps them stay out of trouble, not getting in with, trouble with the law. And I want them to understand that, life is precious. And, even if you have a younger sibling that is yagging or, nagging at you to play a game, it's okay. Because as teens, life is all about them. It's okay to stop and do something for somebody else, because you never know, will that be the last time? So it's not just speeding. It's all about, we talk about character, we talk about making good choices, the value of life, their life and other lives, and also the impact of a crash. Many times they may see someone pass away in their own school and they think it just happens and it's all over. But I want them to understand, it's not. It takes years to recover.
You had a boy and a girl
in the car that night. My daughter was driving. My son was the passenger. My daughter survived. And thank the Lord, she's got no permanent disability today, but the emotional trauma of that crash literally took years to recover from. And we're blessed that I believe she has turned her life around and she has recovered. There are times where people involved in something like this, they don't get their life back. They don't turn it around. So so I want them to know that, your life is precious, and don't think if something like this happens, you're just going to go to bed one night, wake up, and it's over, because it doesn't happen that way. So slow down, smell the roses, understand life is precious. You can't hit rewind. You can't hit reset like you can with Wii or PlayStation.
That's right.
That once you've made that decision, that poor decision, it's gone. There's no turning back. And that's what I want them to understand, that you can't turn back the clock. You can't change it, what's happened. You just then learn to live with what's happened.
Dee, where can we get more information about FACES4, about what you're doing? I know that you and Mike Donovan, he's also come and appeared on our show. It's been quite a while.
Right.
I know that he's come out and talked to our kids. You said you're covering about 5 counties. I know that, and single-handedly, I would say you are basically the one in and out of the schools.
Right.
I know Mike has also come out in this area, come in to see Kendall County and LaSalle and DeKalb County kids, and together your two families are really making an impact in the lives of kids, and hopefully that's a message that they're never ever going to forget. And I think more parents need to hear this message. Those in their 20s, those in their 30s that don't have teenagers, who are not sitting home waiting for those teenagers to come home at night, also need to hear that message, because we all need to take a real honest look in the mirror and a real honest look at our behavior on our roadways. But how can we get more information about your organization?
They can go to our website, www.faces4.org. On there's a little click on Contact Us. We have posters that if a business would like to put the posters up, we have posters, we have informational packets, anything. If they want palm cards.
And of course, you said some of the law enforcement agencies, the sheriff's departments and the police departments, are getting a hold of these and taking these. And you're having some help with that as well, aren't you? Getting those printed. That's quite that's quite an expense just to offer this to the public.
Yeah, that's a blessing. So we have the palm cards, and we also have football fields that I was telling you about, because I worked so hard on trying to come up with something, because I know if somebody said, oh, it takes 40 yards or 40 feet, I'm like, no clue. But if you show me a football field, I can relate to that, because how many people have seen a football game? And so that's a big blessing that we were able to come up with that. But that's a good visual to let people see how long it truly takes to stop. So.
Oh, you're doing a good thing every day, and honoring your son every day, and families of so many children, so many parents, so many people throughout our state.
So, thank you.
Thank you for coming. It's been so nice to have you on our show again.
Oh, thank you.
And we hope you will come back periodically and remind us and keep reminding us how precious we all are. It's really a joy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dee Brant from FACES4.org. You can get more information at right there, www.faces4.org. Stop speeding before it stops you, and that's the message our teenagers want all of us to hear. So that's our message for today. We hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.